Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and it's my very great pleasure and privilege to welcome you here to the Cathedral. Before I go any further, make any more introductions, would you show your appreciation for the wonderful organ music this afternoon from Geoffrey Makinson. Geoffrey is the Assistant Director of Music here at the Cathedral and very much knows his way around the magnificent Father Willis organ, which this year is back in full working order. It lost a bit for the last couple of years whilst they were doing something with the roof, but now you heard it in full effect. And that lovely last rich chord has helped us to this special moment. My moment, my chance for me to put your minds at rest, particularly the front row here, because what they do, hopefully the rest of you will follow. But in a minute, I'll explain that. I want to talk to your friends and relatives and neighbours. Hello. Hello. Shall we try that again? Hello. Good. I want to break a myth. You come into church, many of you, and you think we're not allowed to enjoy ourselves. On this occasion, you most certainly can, because as your friends that you've come to support move from that side of the stage to that side of the stage, they need lots of encouragement, okay? So please do enter into the spirit of what is going to be an absolutely magnificent afternoon. And I think I'm right in saying you've got the best weather of the week so far. It's been a little bit of a challenge on some of the days, especially when they process out the back and it was pouring with rain on Tuesday. My journalism graduates looked like drowned rats by the time they got up to the castle. Now, my job is to help take you through the little ceremony we have here. But let's just put it into some context. First of all, just look at where you're graduating from. Isn't this magnificent? It's quite stunning. It is, and many people, better than me, will say that this is the finest piece of medieval architecture anywhere in Europe. And with it goes a lovely acoustic. And the acoustic is something I'm going to address now, particularly with your friends at the back who've been taking photographs, I've noticed, with some very posh phones. Absolutely fine to take photographs, and afterwards you can take photographs here. We have a stills photographer there, and you can collect details about that when you're up at the reception in the castle grounds. But what we don't want is people bobbing up and down during the ceremony and addressing everybody. We don't want phones to go off during the ceremony. Now, with some of my colleagues on these graduations, they've been Twittering, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagramming all day long. The safest thing, if you have a phone, is to find the button that you've probably not found since you took it out of the box, the off button. It does work, I'm told. And if you guys want to take photographs with your phones, make sure it's on airplane or on throb or on silent, just so that we don't get a cacophony of sound at some important moment. Now, we've looked at the place. We have a medieval building in which to graduate you. And the ceremony you're about to go through goes back almost to the days when this was being built. Historically, there's a chap called Grosseteste. He eventually ended up here as bishop, but about 800 years ago, he was in Oxford with several other very clever clerics, and they were trying to develop where a seat of learning should be built. He was the Chancellor of Oxford, but as a career priest, one thing he wanted to do was to move up the ranks to become a bishop. And back in the day, Lincoln was the place to come to. It was premiership. It was the top one to go to, apart from Canterbury and York. You may find that perhaps a little surprising nowadays, especially if you've had to travel on that single carriage from Newark Northgate into Lincoln. It doesn't quite set Lincoln up as the place to go to. But it was in those days, so Grosseteste came here and Oxford and Cambridge carried on doing their thing for 800 years, and we had to wait. But it was well worth the wait. You've come to a modern, forward-moving university, 21st century and all that, but look, you graduate somewhere grander than even those who go to Oxford and Cambridge. I know that for certain because two of my very good broadcasting friends, I used to work in the BBC many years ago, they're chancellors of colleges in Cambridge. Both of them are honorary doctorates of this university, and whenever they come here, they say, the way we do a graduation here far outstrips what they do. So, feel big, feel wow, feel great, feel all those wonderful tingly things that you should be feeling. So how do we do it? Right. The first thing we need to do is to make sure all your equipment is in the right place and that your tassel, if you have a tassel, is on the left-hand side. The wonderful team of dressers should have made sure that your tassel on the left-hand side. The reason for that is you have to perform a thing called the Lincoln Doff. Back in the day, you used to have to come forward and kneel, and the Chancellor would be given a scroll, and they would thwack you over the head with it. Sadly, nowadays, we are not allowed to do the thwacking, so we had to come up with something which is a little bit more seemly, shall we say. So this is what we have to do. So the doff is an important part of it, and it's a way of showing respect to two very important people on the stage. But let's practice this doff. Now, on this ceremony, I know that anything to do with vaguely salutey things should go well. If it doesn't, it's not my fault. But what we've designed is something that recognizes the people on the stage simply like this. The Lincoln Doff is touch the side of your board and down. Not longest way up and shortest way down, or just straight up and straight down. So can we try that on a count of three? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, very good. I'm not surprised. Normally we have to do that 2 or 3 times, especially after lunch when some of them can't actually find where the edge of their board is. Anyway, that's perfect. So who do you doff to? Right, very simple. We have a procession, and in that procession, the last person in the procession, the most important person, is the chap who's sitting here, Professor Victor Lord Abawale. He is our Chancellor, a very distinguished person. You can't mistake him. He's the last person in the procession. He'll be sitting here in front of the mace. He'll be the first person to talk to you. So he is the person to whom you have to doff. Now, the doffing is only one part of this magic moment that moves you from graduand to graduate. I'll demonstrate how this works, okay? So you will be taken, or wave at the ushers, because they're very important. Hello, ushers. They will take you row by row round here, and you park yourself here. Now, I can guarantee that all of the instructions I'm giving you now, you'll have completely forgotten them. But I can guarantee that at one very important moment, one part of your body will react instinctively. Let me show you. You're brought here. There's a person standing here who is given a card with your name on it. They will announce your name and your degree. Andrew David, Bachelor of Arts, University of the World. At which point, everybody erupts with thunderous applause and maybe the odd whoop. At that point, your legs will project you onto the stage. Hello, yes. You never thought I'd get here, did you? Well, now, can I suggest that might not go down awfully well with Lord Victor, okay? What you need to do is to aim for the corner of the stage here. There's a bit of greenery, and hopefully, as long as the front row get it right, everybody else will. You get there, you turn, and you look at Lord Victor, who is smiling at you, and Lord Victor is the one you doff to, so you doff there. So far, so good. Now comes a slightly more tricky bit. You have to walk across the stage, but the clue is that standing here is Professor Toby Wilkinson. Toby is our Pro-Vice-chancellor today, and the clue is smiling, and he has his hand pointing at you. So all you need to do, if you've forgotten any other instructions, is to aim for the hand. Smiling as you go, because you'll then be caught beautifully by our stills photographer there. Then, all you've got to manage to do safely is to negotiate your way off the stage, down there, and collect your certificate from our friends over there. I will give you one word of warning. Careful of your sleeve. Several times this week, the microphone here has caught the unwary and thunk. There's been a nasty noise. So just be careful as you negotiate the corner. So, I'm now going to do it in real time, okay? So this is your magic moment. Just watch carefully. So you're brought up here, you're standing here, your name is announced, you move smartly on, smiling at the crowd, you doff to Lord Victor, you shake hands with Professor Toby, smiling, you leave the stage, and very simply, that's the way we graduate here at Lincoln. So, you've managed to get here. You've trials and tribulations, 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to get all those dissertations in, trying to submit them on Blackboard if you've ever tried to do that. You've got through all of that. This is your magic moment. There's one other thing which I haven't told you yet, but I'm sure you'll never forget. Lord Victor, at the very end of the ceremony, will invite you to process out down the nave behind the academic procession. And I can guarantee that when you walk between your friends who are cheering and applauding, you'll never forget that moment for the rest of your lives. Once you're out, you can go up to the castle. There's a reception up there, all sorts of things to enjoy. And our Alumni Association will be delighted to have a word with you because we'd like to keep in contact with you to see how you get on. And we can also obviously keep in contact with you, tell you how we're getting on. So take an opportunity to spend some time up at the castle after the ceremony. I said that the weather was okay. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I haven't jinxed it. The sun's gone in, but never mind. Whatever happens, I'm sure you're going to have an absolutely fantastic afternoon. Enjoy every minute of it. And from me, Andrew David, for the moment, bye-bye.
Please be seated for the Chancellor of the University of Lincoln.
It is my great pleasure and privilege as Chancellor of the University of Lincoln to welcome you to this graduation ceremony. Welcome first to all our guests here to celebrate the achievements of your children, grandchildren, family and friends. Welcome to the friends of the university whose steady support over the years has helped build its success. Welcome to my colleagues, the staff of the university, through whose efforts the university is what it is today. And finally and particularly, welcome to our students, our graduands, for whom this ceremony marks the culmination of years of hard work and study, and we hope some fun too. This is a very special occasion for us all, as we come together to recognise and celebrate your work and achievements. I hope that you enjoy the ceremony and remember it always with immense pride and profound satisfaction.
The Reverend Philippa White, Successor of Lincoln Cathedral, will offer congregation her welcome on behalf of the Dean and Chapter.
Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, distinguished guests, staff, students, graduates, and all the family of the university, a very warm welcome. It is very good to be here today, and on behalf of the Dean and Chapter, a great privilege to welcome you all to this cathedral. For the last 9 centuries, Lincoln Cathedral has stood at the top of the hill, watching over and praying for the city. It has been a place where joys have been celebrated and sorrows shared, a place of civic rejoicing, of prayer and worship, of education and of the search for truth. And so we are delighted that we continue to take part in the life of the city in all those ways today, as we come together to celebrate the joy of those who graduate and the pride of your families and friends in your achievements. Today you bring your years of effort to their conclusion, and as you come here justly proud of your achievements, we are delighted to celebrate with you. For this cathedral was built as a place to bring all those things before God, giving thanks for all the good things God has given to us, and celebrating that in all that we do, God promises to be alongside us. So as we gather in celebration today, let's pause for a moment to give thanks to God for this joyful day and for the achievements of all you who are graduating. Loving God, fountain of all knowledge, giver of all good gifts, as we gather to celebrate the achievements of these graduates, we thank you that you are here with us and that you too rejoice at the things your children achieve. We pray for all who graduate today, that you would be with them in today's celebration and in the days that lie ahead, blessing them with your presence and your love. Amen.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lincoln, Professor Toby Wilkinson, will address congregation.
Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, honoured guests, friends, families and graduands, may I also offer you a very warm welcome to this graduation ceremony. Today is a special day in the university calendar when we celebrate success and recognise achievement. It is a joyous occasion for all of us here, but particularly for you, our graduands. This is your day, and we are delighted to share your success with you, your families and friends. We are privileged to be able to hold graduation in the splendour of Lincoln Cathedral. I would like to add my thanks to the Dean and Chapter for allowing us to use this wonderful building, where we can celebrate a scholarly tradition dating back 1,000 years. To our graduands, I simply say, congratulations. You should be very proud of your achievements. Your presence at this ceremony confirms and celebrates your success. Although a university degree is a mark of individual achievement, none of us is able to succeed entirely on our own. The support of family, friends, fellow students, and the academic and professional staff of the university will all have contributed to your success. So please join me in a round of applause to thank all those who have helped you through your studies. This afternoon, we recognise the achievement of graduates from the Lincoln International Business School. Let me give you just one example, one personal story from a student graduating today. He writes, "Over the summer of 2015, I decided that I wanted to complete a degree in engineering management, as I felt this would allow me to grow both personally and professionally. Having attended the initial campus day, I was somewhat apprehensive about the scale of work in front of me. Having never completed higher education, after leaving school with poor grades and joining the RAF at an early age, I found the first module fairly tough, requiring a good deal of support from my first tutor. Once I understood the construct, however, the battle was over and the war was won. Come February, I had embarked on Module 3, Change Management. During this module, however, I found out that I'd been posted to the United States, which required both a move for my entire family and a vigorous pre-employment training schedule. So I decided to complete Module 3 by the end of March, which I managed to achieve. I reconvened my studies in late October, such that I could complete Module 4 by Christmas and the dissertation by the following Easter. My journey has been both difficult and challenging, but completely worth it. I would like to thank all of the university staff who have helped me to achieve my goal, despite being 4,398 miles and 6 time zones away. It is successes such as these that contribute towards the success of the university as a whole. We are particularly pleased that our commitment to excellent teaching and graduate success has been recognised nationally in the results of the Teaching Excellence Framework. This official assessment of teaching quality at British universities gave Lincoln a Gold Award, and the metrics we submitted placed us in the top 10 universities nationally. Everyone here today can take great pride in this achievement. Graduation is a rite of passage when we celebrate past achievement and anticipate future success. So I'd like to take a few moments to look back and look forward. Looking back, this year marks the 800th anniversary of the Battle of Lincoln. Although not as well known as the Battle of Hastings or the Battle of Britain, the Battle of Lincoln was every bit as important for the future of this country. It was fought in May 1217 in the streets around this cathedral. On one side were the rebels trying to overthrow Henry III. On the other side were the forces loyal to the king, led by the redoubtable chatelaine of Lincoln Castle, Nicolas de la Haye. In the months preceding the battle, the rebels had made all the running and looked like winning. Only Lincoln stood in their way. They probably thought it would be a pushover. But they had reckoned without the steely determination of Lincoln and of Nicolas de la Haye. Under her command, the castle held out long enough for reinforcements to arrive. Lincoln remained loyal, the rebels fled, and English freedom was secured. The Battle of Lincoln reminds us of the importance of leadership, of staying true to your beliefs, even in the face of fierce opposition, and of fighting for what you believe in. Nicola's determination at a time when society was dominated by men also reminds us that gender should be no bar to achievement. Now let us look forward. At American universities, graduation isn't called graduation, it's called commencement. That's because it marks the beginning, the commencement of the next phase of your life. Yes, we hope you will look back with pride and a sense of achievement on your studies. But we also want you to look forward, to think how you can take what you have learned at Lincoln and use it to enrich your life and to benefit society. In English usage, the phrase looking forward carries with it a sense not just of the future, but of future enjoyment. We look forward to a holiday, to party, to catching up with friends. As graduates of the University of Lincoln, you can look forward in every sense to the future, because you won't merely adapt to the future, you'll shape it, you'll create it. And the university, your university, looks forward to the future with equal confidence. We remain committed to delivering an outstanding student experience and graduate success, to producing excellent research with real impact, to serving Lincoln and Lincolnshire, to making our mark on the national and international stage. But above all, we look forward to staying in touch with you, our graduates, to hearing about your successes, to honouring your contributions, and to celebrating your achievements. Thank you. By the authority vested in me by the Academic Board, I am pleased to confer upon you all the awards to which you are entitled.
Dr. Craig Marsh, Pro Vice-Chancellor and Director of Lincoln International Business School, will now present graduands who are receiving their awards this afternoon.
Chancellor, I'm pleased to present the graduands now receiving postgraduate awards from the Lincoln International Business School. For the degree of Master of Science in Logistics Management, Tanya Bartlett. Simon James Charnock. Mark Jason Clulo. Susanna Elizabeth Hayton Curtis. Thomas Arthur Hall. And for the degree of Master of Science in Management, Jack Edward Maddock. Chancellor, I'm pleased to present the graduands now receiving first awards from Lincoln International Business School. For the honours degree of Bachelor of Arts in Business Management, Vivietta Esther Bokoeko. Matthew Keith Clark. Stephen Gowland. Lisa Michelle Hollinson. Sally Hopkin. Sayori Hotozuka. Vera Kramer. Paul Langford. Kedibone Franz Mangena. Evelina Petrus. Nathan Sims. Paul Thistlethwaite. Liam Richard Thomas. Jacobus Johannes Andreas van Zyl. And for the honored degree of Bachelor of Science in Aerospace Engineering and Airworthiness Management, Abdul Rahman Al-Wahibi. Kenneth George Bibby. Simon Short. And for the honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Communications Engineering Management, Michelle Louise Grant. George Stack Lindsay. Stephen Keith Preston. And for the honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Communications Management, Stuart John Kodak. And for the honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management, Mohammed Shafiq Abdullah. Adebimpe Adeniji. Olaida Adedigba Adesanya. Robert Christopher Bell. David Bosley. Benjamin Cannell. Troy Chivers. Craig Downey. Alexander Clark. Alan Davey. Gary Edmonds. Stephen Francis Fleming. Alan James Forbes. Daniel Fox. Liam John Grace. Andrew Lewis Hayward. Stephen Krynick. Scott Last. Pablo Oliveira Brizio. John Potter. And Marcus Ramsden. Chancellor, that concludes the first part of the presentation awards.
We call upon Professor Andrzej Zwelindowski, head of the School of Mathematics and Physics, to introduce the congregation Professor James Kakalios, who is today receiving the award of Doctor of Science honoris causa.
Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, honored guests, graduates, I am pleased to present to you Professor James Kakalios, to whom the governing body has agreed to confer an honorary doctorate of science. City of Lincoln is connected to physics long before the word physics came into use. Early in the 13th century, in this very cathedral, the Bishop of Lincoln, Robert Grottet, was probably the very first in Britain who wrote on wonders of nature, such as rainbow, light, and matter in the universe. Today, we honor Professor Kakalios, whose research is in the field of matter, of condensed matter physics, the main physics research direction of School of Mathematics and Physics in the University of Lincoln. James Kakalios is a Taylor Distinguished Professor in the University of Minnesota. He received his doctoral degree from the University of Chicago in the United States and worked as a researcher in the Xerox Palo Alto Research Center in Silicon Valley. After he joined the faculty in the School of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Minnesota. James Kakalios has advanced physics not only in his research, but also in worldwide outreach. His popular science book, The Physics of Superheroes, was published in 2005, both in the United States and United Kingdom, and has been translated since into 6 languages. The spectacular second edition of that book was published in 2009, followed by the amazing story of quantum mechanics in 2010. His latest book, The Physics of Everyday Things, The Extraordinary Science Behind an Ordinary Day, was published last May. In 2007, in response to the request from the United States National Academy of Sciences, James Kakalios served as a consultant to the Warner Brothers superhero film Watchmen. His video on the science of Watchmen, which was viewed since about 2 million times on YouTube, received a regional Emmy Award. James Kakalios is a Fellow of American Physical Society and the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and has served as a chair of the American Physical Society Committee on Informing the Public, past chair of the American Physical Society Forum on Outreach and Engagement with the Public. His efforts on science communication have been recognized with the 2014 Association for the Advancement of Science Public Engagement Award and the American Institute of Physics 2016 Andrew Gemmont Award. Chancellor, in the context of these outstanding achievements in the advancement and public communication of physics, I would like to call on you to confer on Professor James Kakalios an Honorary Doctor of Science from the University of Lincoln.
By the authority vested in me by the University, I am pleased to confer upon you the award of Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa, and welcome you amongst us. Congratulations. Well done. I didn't realise that you'd also been the Watchman. I didn't realise that you'd been the Watchman. It is with great pleasure that I invite our honoured guest, James Kakalios, to address us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chancellor Lord Adeboye, all the Vice-chancellors and faculty and staff, Professor Andrzej Zawodowski, and everyone here at the University of Lincoln for this honor. I congratulate all the students on your achievement celebrated here today, and I recognize the true superheroes, the parents. This is quite a trip for me, the son of a New York City taxi driver whose parents did not go to college. I went to public schools, I believe they're called state schools here, and the City College of New York. When I left for graduate school at the University of Chicago, situated roughly 1,000 miles from New York City, it was the furthest that I had ever been from home. I have continued to travel far from where I started, thanks to my education. You are all here at an institution of higher education, so I don't have to tell you that learning and study is the entry road to a full life. My own road led me from Chicago to California and then to Minnesota, near the Canadian border, just so that you know the road doesn't always go straight. As a physics professor at the University of Minnesota, I found great satisfaction in research and teaching, and also in science outreach, engaging with the general public and sharing my joy of physics with others. In communicating science to non-technical audiences, one approach that I found fruitful is to illustrate physics principles using examples taken from superhero comic books and movies. Some find it easier to grasp physics concepts when the explanations involve Superman and Spider-Man. It isn't the first time these heroes have saved the day. I came to this approach naturally, as I was and still am a reader and collector of comic books. Yes, in addition to being a college professor, I am also a comic book fan. This makes me both a geek and a nerd. Sorry, already married. My advice to you all, not that anyone asked, is to honor your own geekiness, your passions and interests, with your nerdiness, your smarts and education, so that they enhance and reinforce each other, improving the journey on your personal road. You mark a significant accomplishment today, and you should indeed be proud, but note that your education is never over, never complete. While there may be no more requirements, aside that is for getting a job, don't worry parents, I have your back, there are still an unlimited number of electives that you can try. Cast a wide net outside your comfort zone, try new things and meet new people. Engage with issues bigger than yourself. There is great power that comes from a lifetime of learning. Now you must promise to use your power for good. I don't have to tell you that with great power there must also come great responsibility. but responsibility to do what? Here, comic books can provide some guidance. In the comic book story, The Last Days of Superman, in, as you all know, Superman Comics number 156, when the Man of Steel thought he was dying of Virus X, fortunately a false alarm, he carved a giant message to the people of Earth on the surface of the moon using his heat vision. His final words to the people of his adopted planet can serve as advice to us all. Do good to others, and every man can be a Superman. Thank you all very much. Thank you, University of Lincoln. Thank you very much.
Dr. Craig Marsh will continue presenting the graduands who are receiving their awards this afternoon.
Chancellor, I'm pleased to present to you the remaining graduands receiving first awards from the Lincoln International Business School this afternoon. For the honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management, Victor Allen Tuffin. Carl Ray. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management, Nigel Colin Bowley. Graham John Hunt. Michael Hinton. And for the honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Human Resource Management, Ella Ruth Gorman. Kate Gorman. Paul Anthony Robinson. And for the honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Logistics Management, Bright Bashiru Abu. Bright Agyare Botio. Stephen Anderson. Peter Biggs. John Christopher Alexander Brooke. David Michael Curry. David Dobson. Robert James Ferrin. Lindsay Gascoigne. Richard Edward Gilder. Lee Head. Graham Langfield. Andrew Limbrick. Laurie McDoodle. Catherine Norton. Cheryl O'Rourke. Peter Reid. Abbas Saliu. Kumbo Tembo. Daniel Thomas. Andrew Williams. Carly Alana Wood. And for the Honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Retail Management, Nafar Wafik Ajil Az-Samarai. Chancellor, that concludes the award of presentations this afternoon.
We now invite Ella Gorman and Kitty Gorman to say a few words on behalf of those graduating this afternoon.
Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen. Today we celebrate a special occasion, our mutual success. But the success that we have striven for is not ours alone. It is shared by the graduates who have toiled alongside us. It is reflected on the staff who have guided our endeavours, and it is enjoyed by friends and family, some of whom are here with us today in this wonderful setting. We stand before you a little bit like bookends, and how appropriate that thought is given what has brought each of us here today. We are honoured and humbled in equal measure to have been chosen to address you. Matching hair, matching faces, matching expressions, thankfully not matching dresses, although our mum did try. Is too necessary, you ask? Well, we started this journey together and thought it only necessary to end it in the same way. For us, it has been a team effort. It is team effort that every single one of you may relate to. By team effort, we mean fellow students, families, friends, tutors, and for some, employers. It is their unwavering commitment, strong belief, and wise counsel that has forged in us a drive to achieve and do it, and that we have. A most appreciative thank you seems rather lame and underwhelming given the circumstances, but it is heartfelt, genuine, and above all, conjoined. 7 years into our army careers, 5 years later than an average university student, and 4 years after our younger sister's graduation, an academic milestone has been reached. And it is just that, a milestone. The next waypoint, a master's degree, is barely in sight on the brow of the next hill, but climb it we must. Our mum, perhaps a little prematurely, but with good military planning nonetheless, already has the snacks and beverages prepared for the late nights at the kitchen table. She also has the earplugs for the repeated bickering over referencing trivialities and whose tutor gives superior feedback. But despite the repeated tears, irritabilities, and lost evenings in studies, which have quite possibly been peppered by drinks, dancing, and debauchery for those of you here for 3 years, we must not forget why we all began this journey. In the words of William Shakespeare, no profit is taken when no pleasure grows. In brief, study what you most affect. We have studied what we most enjoyed, a passion, an intrigue, an interest for the subject. Shakespeare was right. We have profited as a result. But whilst we bathe in success and salutations, we must not forget the journey we have been on in order to be here today. A journey for the two of us of learning the intricacies of skim reading, how to insert quotes into paragraphs, corroborating and disproving authors' viewpoints, referencing appropriately, all whilst adroitly answering the question and reaching a supported conclusion. No mean feat when balancing a hectic social calendar of hosting and functions, preparing for and serving in Afghanistan, and the demands of leading a platoon. Our fellow graduates will have had corresponding struggles and in many circumstances would have had to work harder to maintain a similar balancing act. As Albert Einstein once said, intellectual growth commences at birth and ceases only at death. With that in mind, let this academic achievement be just that, an achievement and not the finish line. Let it be not the culmination of a journey, but rather an incentive to press on. Look around you and you'll see individuals of all ages living in Einstein's wisdom, in the course of which they are learning and developing at different stages of their lives. Certainly, for the two of us, our degree is simply a step. Maybe you view today in the same way. And so it is with great pride that we stand here together as a collective to celebrate our collegiate success. For this reason, we would like to wish our fellow graduates the utmost good luck, success, and happiness with their futures. Similarly, we'd like to thank Lincoln University for their resources, facilities, and tuition. Without their auspicious seat of learning, we would not have prospered in the way that we have. Today vindicates our decision to study here and to continue studying here. Loyalty, as we know it from our army lives, is a two-way street. So if we may, Chancellor, we would like to convey our sincerest appreciation and offer a vote of thanks to you, your staff, and the university for enabling our journey to arrive at this point today and by marking it with such a wonderfully memorable occasion. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, which one's Ella, which one's Kitty? What's going on? That was amazing. Well done. Fantastic. Our ceremony today is now drawing to its close. It only remains for me to thank all our guests for the support they have given to the university and its students over the years, and to wish our departing graduates all the very best of good fortune in their future lives and chosen careers. We hope you will keep in touch through the alumni network, not only with each other, but also with the university, and watch its future progress with pride, as we will certainly watch yours. And finally, you are now graduates of the university. As such, I invite you to take your rightful places in the academic procession as we move from the Cathedral across to the castle grounds, where the alumni celebration reception has been prepared for everyone here. Thank you and good luck, and prosperity be with you always.
Our ceremony is now concluded. The academic procession will leave the platform and make its way through the great west door and across Castle Square. As it passes, our new graduates will themselves take their places in the procession and leave the cathedral. As they do so, please stay in your places to give them a final round of applause before you join them in the castle grounds. Please all rise for the full academic procession.